ESPN has a 7-round mock. You heard me correct. This isn't just a 1 or a 2. This is the whole shebang. Jordan Reed, he's the third guy with Kuiper and McShay at ESPN. Jordan Reed's 7-round mock draft. Not going to go through 200 names, but do want to give you the Lions picks and want to know what you think of this haul. With the 6th pick, the Detroit Lions select Tyree Wilson, defensive end, Texas Tech. Carter's gone, Anderson's gone.
Oh, Carter and Anderson are both gone. Okay, because this is kind of how we do the mock drafts. Who's gone? So was left on the board Tyree Wilson and everybody else, all the defensive backs. So.
All the corners are available.
So were there 3 or 4 quarterbacks? 3 quarterbacks were taken.
3 QBs in the top 5, and then Carter and Anderson.
Okay.
They take Wilson.
So So Seattle took Carter.
Yes.
Took Carter.
Yes.
All right. So it's 7. Then the Raiders. The Raiders end up taking Will Levis.
They did.
Okay.
Then a corner goes 8, and so on and so forth.
So now their lines are at 18.
Deonte Banks. He's the 4th corner off the board out of Maryland.
And he's the guy that the Lions select.
Correct.
Instead of, let me just ask if these players.
Okay, that's fine.
Was Quentin Johnston there?
I will double check, but I believe he was gone. I will get it to you real quick. Luke Van Ness was on the board. Here's some guys that went immediately after. Harrison the tackle, Van Ness the edge, Bijan Robinson went 21, Johnston went 22, so he was there.
Yeah, so I have it pulled up now, so it's not going to be a surprise to me anymore, but I'm just going to help our audience out as well because they like to play along with this
Who would have been there? So you've got Wilson, Banks, skip to the 2nd round, Keanu Benton, defensive tackle, Wisconsin. Trenton Simpson goes 1 pick later.
All right.
You're not in love with Benton?
Defensive lineman. No, I'm not in love with him. Not saying he's a bad pick. I'm not in love with him. The linebacker I like there. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, who goes a little bit later. Jack Campbell, the linebacker from Seattle.
Doug loves him.
Doug loves him, and I do too. I would have taken Jack Campbell at that point.
The 2nd of 2 second-round picks. He's got a smile on his face. Surprise is gone. 55, it's Tennessee's Hendon Hooker.
100%, that's what I would do. That is 100% what I would do if he's there at 55. I probably would have taken him at 48, but 55, I will definitely take Hendon Hooker at that point.
The 81st pick in the 3rd round, they select Braden Daniels, offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman out of Utah. He's played both tackle spots and guard.
Interesting. So he's got the Lions taking defensive tackle from Wisconsin, and then this guy, offensive lineman.
Yep. Just Well, I mean, Glasgow's only on a 1-year deal, and Vaitai feels like he's on borrowed time. It wouldn't be a bad thing to address.
Don't know how good he started. 43 games for the Utes.
Yep.
Seeing time at right tackle, and left guard. So obviously he's got the versatility that they look for.
There you go. We skip. They don't have a 4th-round pick. We go to the 5th round. I like this one. Dorian Williams, linebacker, Tulane. Yeah,
I'm not against that. I mean, at this point in this mock draft, they need to get a linebacker.
They have to.
So
he's a good coverage linebacker, played in very good defense last year at Tulane.
Yep. They could have added to the running back room. Chase Brown was available to them. But I get Abanikanda from Pitt, another running back, was available to them if they wanted to go that route.
In the 6th round, they have 2 picks. Davis Allen, the tight end out of Clemson at pick 183. And at pick 194, Jaden Hazelwood, receiver, Arkansas. 7-round haul. I know everybody's thinking, what about Jake Moody? Jake Moody goes between their pick in the 5th and 6th rounds. So if you wanted Moody, you'd have to take him in the 5th in this. The entire haul, Tyree Wilson, Deonte Banks, Keanu Benton, Hendon Hooker, Braden Daniels, Dorian Williams, Davis Allen, Jaden Hazelwood. They get defensive end, corner, defensive tackle, quarterback, guard, linebacker, tight end, receiver. The haul as a whole, Gator, what would you give it?
A B-.
Oh, okay. Even with Hendon Hooker in there.
I love Hendon Hooker.
Couple quality defenders in the first. Still only a B-.
Just a B-. They went and got the tight end they got. I'm not thrilled with. The tight end I like later in the draft is somebody who goes in the 4th round. Unfortunately, I don't have a 4th round pick, and that was Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion.
Oh, he's picking up some steam.
He is, because he's athletically very gifted, and he's huge. He's another guy 6'7", 265 pounds, and can block. So yeah. I think there's some missteps. Of course, if the draft plays out like this, and you're looking at this and things that you love, because there are players that both Doug and I latch on to, and like, if this guy's there, this is who you take. Jack Campbell is one of those players. I would love to have Jack Campbell as a linebacker. I'll take Jack Campbell at 48 instead of Keanu Benton, the defensive lineman from Wisconsin. I like the Hendon Hooker pick. There's no doubt about that. You go back and look at the pick that they had in the 1st round at 18.
They don't like Banks. Good press corner in Maryland.
I think he's fine. I don't know if I love that pick. I think at that point I'd rather have a defensive tackle of some kind. And, they didn't go with one. You could have Kalijah Cansey.
I like him.
That would have been great at 18, right? The people spoke. People loved Kalijah Cansey at 18. You missed out on the best running back in the draft. You could have arguably the best wide receiver in the draft. Instead, you take the 4th best defensive back. You see where I'm going here? That's why I don't love it.
Okay. B-. I think what's interesting about the 7-round mock is it just gives you some context, because when we talk about an individual pick like 6 or an individual pick like 18, you don't know how they're going to account for all of the other positions.
No.
You get to see it spelled out in front of you in 7 rounds. Is it going to break this way?
Absolutely
no
not.
Chance. No chance.
Absolutely not.
I mean, no offense to Jordan Reed, the ESPN guy who put this together. It's impossible to predict 7 rounds. I think every year, not picking on you, you have a guy you like who goes wildly up or down with what we all thought they would do. Like last year, Nakobe Dean is the guy that comes to mind.
Love
where
him.
You're like, well, how the hell is this guy falling? It doesn't always work out the way we think it's going to go.
And there was injury issues with him, and didn't want to have surgery, and had teams shying away from him, and didn't play much for Philly this year. But Philly drafted, I think, smartly when they took he and Jordan Davis, 2 guys that didn't play a whole lot their rookie season, but they knew that they were going to play a lot perhaps in the future because they had too many free agents that they were going to lose. And sure enough, they lose TJ Edwards, they lose Hargrave, and now they have a chance to play both of these guys big-time minutes.
Funny enough, I think I might like this draft a little more than you, but one of my hang-ups would be one of your favorite picks.
Hendon Hooker?
I'm not a Hendon Hooker guy. If they go Wilson because there's no other better defender at 6 and the quarterbacks are gone, I think that's great. And if they grab a corner, I like Banks. I do. Especially if the other 3 are gone. It's not a problem to me. I just wouldn't draft Hendon Hooker in the 2nd round. I don't think of him as highly as you do. He's a guy who takes a lot of sacks. I don't think he gets to his second read very often. I worry about the offense he played in college, and then I didn't factor in that he's ancient with a bad knee.
He's not ancient.
He's 95 years old.
He'll be 26 at the end of the season.
He has arthritic knees.
I would move back into the 1st round so I get the extra year out of the contract.
He is collecting Social Security.
Oh, my God.
Does he have those tennis balls on the bottom of his walker that he walks around with?
It's for stability.
It's not just training to get healthy again. It's not just rehab for him.
I have concerns with him. He fits the bill as a stash, develop quarterback.
He was arguably the best quarterback in college football last year.
You said that yesterday, and it bothered me when I was sitting home.
Why does it bother you?
He's not.
I'm sorry to spit facts at you. Before he got hurt, he was arguably the best quarterback in college football. He was going to win the Heisman Trophy until he hurt his knee. He threw out of his mind against Alabama. He can move in the pocket, buy himself extra time. He can run downfield if he has to. The guy completed 70% of his passes. He threw 2 interceptions in 11 games. He's got good size. There's checkity-check.
I think Bryce Young's a better quarterback than Hendon Hooker. I think C.J. Stroud's a better quarterback than Hendon Hooker.
I'm not going to argue that. I like both of those guys, and both of those guys are younger, and they don't have the bad knee.
And they're going to go 1 and 2. I get it. But that's why I just bristle at the idea that Hooker was like the best guy
because he was trending in that direction until he hurt the knee. If he doesn't hurt the knee, is Tennessee playing for a national championship?
Potentially.
I'm just look, the guy was great last year. He was great last year. Now, I've got the hang-ups on him as it was 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
He did it for 1 year, so did Joe Burrow, but he did it for 1 year. And I'm concerned about, anybody that suffers a torn ACL, although guys come back from ACLs and they're fine. So maybe it's not that much of a concern. People bring up the age thing, and I just shake my head going, okay, that's your hang-up. It ain't mine, because all it means is there's less wear on the tread on the tire by the time he becomes the starting quarterback. I'm fine.
Coming up next, Brandon Weeden.
Oh, good God.